Welcome to Foothills. I'm David Green, the pastor here. Today we gather to remember and give thanks for Virginia Willis Morgan. On behalf of Jenny's family, thank you for honoring her with your presence. We are here today because of a common bond: family, friendship, community, faith, and our shared humanity that knits all of us together. So that means we're here because of love, and today in this place, we gather in the protective shelter of that love. We all know full well that to love will mean loss. And in times of loss, we seek the embrace of friends and family in a place like this, where our highest hopes and dreams can find expression, and where our deepest sorrows can find compassion and support. So together today, we will share and tell stories and do the sacred work of thanking God for the life of Jenny Morgan. Here we have permission to express sorrow through our tears, to share happy memories with our laughter, and to celebrate the gift of Jenny with great thanksgiving. Even as we ponder the mystery of life and death, in all that we do, we will hold each other close and know that we are gently held in God's own embrace. So please pray with me. Eternal source of love and peace, today we gather to give thanks for the life of your child and servant, Virginia Morgan. Be with us in this moment. Be in our every breath, in every beat of our hearts, and in our gratitude for the presence of one another. And may your spirit of compassion, hope, light, and love open and illuminate us. Amen. We're going to sing the first of two hymns today, and the hymnals are the bright red books in front of you in the pew that say Hymns of Truth and Light. The first one we're going to sing is Faith of Our Fathers. It's number 418, and we'll sing verses 1, 3, and 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marina. I had the absolute honor and privilege of being Virginia's caregiver for 15 years. Sorry. But to me, and to all of you, she was Ginny. When I first began caring for Ginny, I thought I was stepping into a job. I had no idea I was stepping into a friendship that would change my life forever. Ginny was funny, witty, stubborn, and she absolutely spoke her mind. If she had something to say, you were going to hear it. And I love that about her. She was strong in her opinion, strong in her love, and strong in her spirit. Over the years, we built a bond that went beyond caregiving. I was there for doctor appointments, hospital visits, birthdays, hospital stays. We shared so many ordinary days that became extraordinary simply because we were together. Wednesday lunches with Lori became one of our favorite traditions. The simple moments of sitting together, talking, laughing, are the memories I will cherish forever. One of the things we loved most was watching old Hollywood movies. We could sit for hours wrapped in those classical love stories. Ginny especially loved talking about how she met her husband and how she fell in love. The way her eyes would light up when she told me those stories was like she was reliving those moments all over again. Her love story was one she carried proudly, and that was beautiful to witness. But one of the most unforgettable memories of my life was seeing Ginny at my own wedding. Having her there watching the beginning of my love story meant more than I can ever put words. That day is forever in my heart, and so is she. Somehow along the way, Ginny became more than my patient. She became my family, my best friend. She listened to me, she gave me advice, she encouraged me, she helped me grow into my career as a caregiver, and most importantly, as a person, she taught me to be patient, real patient. She taught me strength, and she showed me what it looks like to love your family fiercely. The love Ginny had for her family, especially her 3 girls, was unbelievable. Everything came back to them. She was proud of them, she adored them. That was the center of her world. I would like to thank Ginny's family from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for trusting me with your mother. Thank you for welcoming me into your lives and treating me with such kindness and generosity. Being allowed to care for Ginny for 15 years was one of the greatest honors of my life. Ginny lived 105 remarkable years. What a gift, what a legacy, and what a woman. Ginny, thank you for letting me into your life, and thank you for the laughter, the stories, the movie days, the lunches, the lessons. Thank you for your friendship. I will miss you so much and carry you with me always. Thank you.
Marina, I'm going to adjust the height a little. Okay, tell me if that works. Oh, hi everyone. Thank you guys all so much for being here today to celebrate the amazing life of my grandmother, Virginia Morgan, Ginny, otherwise known as Grandmommy. For those of you who were at my brother and sister-in-law's wedding, you'll know that I only speak at family events when I'm 38 weeks pregnant. That's just the rule. Many of you also know that Grandmommy announced when she turned 90 that she was only wearing skirts and dresses going forward, as that was more ladylike. At this stage in my pregnancy, I am so happy to take that fashion advice and gladly acquiesce today. Although I will say that being as well put together as Grandmommy is basically a daily struggle. So Grandmommy, please know that I tried. There are so many incredible memories I have of Grandmommy. And as I thought about a couple that I wanted to share today, there were two in particular that stood out. First, I cannot count the number of times that she told me that the most important thing I could have was my brain. And she absolutely kept hers active. She was so proud of the different careers that she had, from being a medical librarian to a certified financial planner. She also read and helped edit all of my grandfather's books. I actually don't even know how many there are now, but a lot. And later in life, she still kept her brain active with daily word soup or word search puzzles, which she loved. The second memory that I'll always cherish is actually from when my son, Marcelito, hi Amor, who's now 3.5, was born. His due date was June 26, and Grandmommy really wanted him to be born on her birthday, which is June 27th, which I just missed. Sadly, I tried. There's only so much I could control. He was instead born on June 28th, which my father will never forgive me for, as that's his and my mom's wedding anniversary. Sorry, Dad, love you. But many of you know that for a variety of reasons, I ended up delivering Marcelito here in the Bay Area, even though my husband and I were actually living in Washington, D.C. at the time. My incredible Aunt Cheryl and Aunt Lori generously lent us their home at Park Regent and relocated to their second home in Arizona for the summer, which was no easy feat, so thank you as well, so that we could have a place of our own for the first 2 months of my son's life before he could get his vaccines and we felt comfortable flying back to DC. So we actually were basically Grandmommy's neighbor. We lived downstairs in Building D of the Park Regent. And for a short time, the Fackler, Morgan, Catani clan had both the oldest and the youngest resident of the Park Regent, affectionately known as the baby of Park Regent. Grandmommy was a sprightly 102 at that point. To be honest, she typically didn't leave her home very much. So I'd bring Marcelito upstairs to visit between naps and feedings. But one day, the doorbell rang, and to my great surprise, look who was there, dressed to the nines, Grandmommy, by herself, with her walker, just swinging by for a visit. I'll note that she completely terrified her poor caregiver, who was doing laundry in the back and didn't realize that she had just left on her own without saying anything to anyone. But she stayed for about an hour. She was chatting, she was holding Marcelito. I actually think we have one of the photos in the slideshow later. You can actually see her downstairs next to Marcelito. And she just hung out. And then I walked her back upstairs, and she would do that from time to time over the next couple of months. She would just come down for a visit to check on all of us. And I'm so grateful we had that time together and that she had that time with Marcelito. But that was Grandmommy up until the end. Marina, so many of the things you said really resonate. Independent, strong, stubborn, social, very loving. What a gift to be able to live in your home so close to your family and the people that you love all the way until 105. Sorry. I thought I was good. But I did just want to say thank you to my parents and all of her amazing caregivers who are here today who made that possible. We love you all very much. So, all to say, I'm going to blame the hormones. I have an excuse. um, Grandmommy, thank you so much. You set such a beautiful example of what a strong, smart, glamorous, independent woman looks like. And I will cherish all of those memories forever. And I really hope that my growing crew gets those strong Yankee genes that she always credits with getting her to 105. So.
A little bit higher. I don't get the same excuse to blame hormones either, so we'll see how this goes. My name is Matt, or Matthew, as both of my grandmothers have always insisted on calling me, and thank you everyone for joining us here today. I am so grateful that we got to have Grandmommy in our lives for so long. 105 years is an incredible gift for all of us. And I know she felt it was a gift to finally join her best friend and husband, Granddaddy. Plus, there aren't many who can say that they were born before the invention of the television and yet lived long enough to have their grandson use AI to help edit his speech. When I think about Grandmommy, though, it's easy to start with 105, but it's not the numbers that stand out. It's the feeling of being with her. One of my earliest memories is from when I was 4 years old, and it includes her, which she was very proud of and loved to remind people of, including myself, in case I forgot. But it's the story of her and Granddaddy making the decision to move out and live here and see both my sister and I grow up. It was late in the day. I remember playing out in front of my parents' home and seeing her and Granddaddy pulling up in their car, this big boat of a Cadillac, after driving all the way from Pittsburgh to California. And at that age, I didn't know that they were moving out. I didn't know what it meant. But even then, I remember feeling like something big and important was happening. And in a way it was. Because from that day on, she became a very real and a very constant presence in my life. Just a mile away at Park Regent for the next 30 years, and I really haven't strayed too far from home, so there's only 4 where I wasn't nearby. Grandmommy was sweet and loving, and she also had this unmistakable royal air about her. We used to tease her that she was basically the Queen of England. And honestly, she never corrected us, and she really carried herself that way. There was a quiet dignity to her, but never in a way that made you feel small. Instead, it made you feel cared for and a little bit special. Some of my favorite memories with her are simple ones. Sitting at the table, learning how to play gin rummy and cribbage. She loved card games, and she was a total card shark. But she was a patient and encouraging card shark. Even with me, a kid who didn't always know what he was doing. Though make no mistake, she never took it easy on me, and to this day, I can guarantee you that I have a losing lifetime record against her. Which, come to think of it, is true for my record against all the women in the Fackler family. I don't think Grandmommy was ever known for her cooking, and yet she knew how to make every meal special. She loved going out, but she was always thoughtful about it, and particularly loved taking me and my sister out to some of our favorite local restaurants. When I was little, she even made a game out of it, writing restaurant names on slips of paper, putting them in a hat, and then letting my sister or I pick one at random. It made ordinary nights feel special. And looking back, I realized she was teaching us something simple but important, that joy can be created in small ways. And so many of the moments that you shared, Marina, really resonated with me with that. Another similarity, she also shared her love of movies with me. I think she loved watching movies with everyone. She introduced me to James Bond at an age that was almost certainly way too young. But that was Grandmommy. She believed in a little bit of spoiling and a relaxed application of parental rating guidelines. Plus, we agreed that Sean Connery was the best Bond. That was never up for debate. Similar to my sister, one of the things I'm most thankful for is that she got to meet my son. Seeing her with him was beautiful. There was so much joy in her face, so much warmth. It felt like such a full circle moment, one life touching the next. And after 105 years, she was still so full of love and appreciation for what was ahead. You might know this, you might not know this, but someone loves you very, very much, is what she would tell him every time she saw him. Grandmommy lived a long, full life. She gave us kindness, humor, and so many small, meaningful memories that will stay with the rest of us. I'll always think of her when I play cards, when I watch an old movie, when I go out to eat somewhere I love. And I'll carry her with me in the way I try to treat the people in my life, with warmth, with thoughtfulness, and maybe just a little bit of quiet royalty. We love you, Grandmommy. Thank you for being you.
Might be a little high. Okay. My name is Lori, and Virginia was my friend. I'm not really related to her at all, but she was definitely my friend. When Cheryl and I moved to California, we got to know all of the Fackler family better, and including Virginia. It was after many Fackler gatherings and discussions that Virginia and I found that we enjoyed each other's company, and so became good friends, even with the 30-year difference that we had. Although it took me a while to stop calling her Mrs. Morgan. And I still can't call her Jenny. It was always Virginia. For the next 20 years, which I was really surprised to figure out it was 20 years, we spent lunch together, as Marina said, once a week whenever possible. We started out going to restaurants in downtown Los Altos, so we actually went out together. Ones that are no longer there, of course, but we would always come up with new ones to try. In later years, I would bring lunch for us to have at her place. It was a challenge to find places that she enjoyed, but thank goodness for Chef Chu's, Shrimp Louis salad, and pepperoni pizza. Of course, there were lots of lobster rolls as well. During these lunches, we talked and talked about a variety of topics, including her beloved Giants and even some politics. Surprise, surprise, Dwight. But most of all, about how proud she was of her girls. I got to know a lot about Virginia's life, even though whenever Madeline asked what we talked about, I couldn't tell her too much. Our topics were that varied. She always, let's see, where was I just lost my mind. Virginia was always curious about my life and things I was doing. She always pushed, encouraged me to write more and to keep up with all my hobbies. I will always cherish those lunches, as Virginia never judged or laughed at anything that mattered to me. In the past few years, Virginia's attention span became shorter, and we found that doing a picture log from different places around the world helped keep her focused. So I would look up like 300 to 400 pictures, and we go through them all like in a couple hours. We visited India, Argentina, Ireland, Egypt, and many more. Our love of different cultures and architecture and nature, especially oceans, beaches, and lakes, made the time fly by. I will always remember Virginia saying, "Nothing humans can do will ever match nature," and that she wished she traveled more. Even though these pictures that we found were more for Virginia, I learned a lot about different cultures and sites, and Virginia as well. I will miss those virtual trips with her. I will also miss the 5-minute telephone calls to ask how I was doing, as well as her saying, "It's another beautiful, boring day in California." She really missed the changing of seasons. Overall, I will miss my friend, but I know she's in a happier place with her friends, family, and of course, John. Virginia will live in my heart forever. Thank you.
So this is a piece I didn't think I'd get through. So Steve offered to read it for me. I will hopefully get through the scripture, and this will be very brief, David, I promise. But there's a person who's missing here today that I know was so important to my mother, and it was my father. They were married for 57 incredibly happy years. I never once saw them argue in all of that time. And my mother's most precious thing that she had was a book of poems that my father had written her. He wrote her every birthday, every anniversary, Valentine's Day, a few at Christmas, and none of us were allowed to see them. I have since, she said, "When I'm gone, I want you to read them all." And I have. And I asked Steve to choose to read one, which is one I knew I couldn't get through, on my father's behalf and in honor of my mother, who cared so much for him. And I think it speaks to the love that they had for each other. Some of you who have read my father's books, my father was a writer, will understand that some of them were definitely not appropriate for today. But the one that I chose, this is also a special week for them. My parents were married on February 15th, 1947, and this is a poem that he wrote to her on February 15th, 1989.
To Virginia, February 15th, 1989. If my thoughts were a love letter, I'd write one to you with power. If my wishes were a garden, I'd grow you every flower. If you lived upon the moon, to it I'd build a tower. If my love were turned to gold, gifts like this on you I'd shower. If I had not yet wed you, I'd do so within the hour. John.
They had an incredible love, and I am so lucky to have been able to witness that. So we'll end this particular piece and let David do the talking with Psalm 23, which was one of my favorites, and my mother's. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Thank you.
Thank you for those beautiful reflections. My hometown is Austin, Texas, and whenever I go back to visit, I try to make time to stop by one of my favorite places there. It is called Uncommon Objects. Might be considered an antique shop or a vintage home decor store, or just a collection of eclectic old junk. The place is crammed to the rafters with stuff, and at first glance it appears chaotic, but the owners are actually very particular. Everything is in its place. They see themselves as curators of artifacts that are old but still have great value. And my favorite part of the store is their large collection of vintage jewelry. Several big glass-topped display cases are filled with rings, watches, necklaces, brooches, fancy hair combs. There's just something about holding a silver locket in your hand, a piece from the early 20th century, and imagining when that was first acquired by a young woman. Maybe it contained a tiny oval photograph of her one true love. And imagining how that was worn and passed on to her children and grandchildren. I hold a piece like that, a shiny object, and wonder about the meaning it held, the stories it could tell, the places it's been, the emotions it represents. Now, on the one hand, it's just a physical thing, an artifact, but it makes you wonder, who did this belong to? What were they like? Were they happy? Did they have a good life? They may or may not have passed that locket down to a child or grandchild, a nephew or a niece. But what part of themselves did they pass along? Because we all pass along something. Now, an object like a silver locket, it's just an object, but there's a reason why we might be very reluctant to ever give it away or sell it. It represents something more significant than itself, something that cannot be contained in object form, but it lives on anyway. Now, in a memorial service like this, it's important to affirm the faith of the person whose life we're celebrating. So we read scripture, we sing hymns, and that allows us to give voice to how we're connected to all that's holy and mysterious. It's also important to be reminded that as much as we tell ourselves we can handle the loss of someone we love, that it's still a hard path to travel. It can bring up mixed emotions. And we need to know that we do not need to take that journey alone. Maybe the biggest reason we have gathered to remember and celebrate the life of Jenny Morgan is to take stock of and be grateful for all of the parts of her that will remain with us, what she passed along to us. We've certainly heard that expressed today. I too agree, Sean Connery is the best James Bond. And I'm always struck in a service like this by what may be a really obvious truth, but I'm compelled to point it out anyway. And that is just how incredibly interconnected we are to one another, how we make a difference for each other. We don't always acknowledge that, but I believe we should at every opportunity. And I believe the reason that we are connected, the thread that forms that connectivity, is love. Love is what knits us together. One reason I believe that, I suppose, is because in my position, in my line of work, I get to witness it quite a lot, and it's wonderful. For example, in a service like this, we all get a glimpse of that when we hear fantastic stories of how one person's life had an impact on another life, and how that impact ripples out, how it's paid forward. Now, if you're like me, you not only see everyone as connected by love, you see everything as spiritual, meaning that we're also connected to the sacred. So, in my book, the impact Jenny had, all the connections and relationships she nurtured in 105 years of life, those were sacred. What she left with you is still sacred. It connects you to her in ways that go far beyond anything physical. It continues to live on through you. And if there's anything I hope to leave with you today, it's to affirm that we all have the gift of doing that with one another. In every relationship, we all have the opportunity to give, to share, to create, to nurture kindness, to strengthen the connections we have with each other in positive and healing ways. We don't always succeed at that. We're not perfect, and we should not expect perfection of each other. But that does not stop us from trying to pass along the best parts of who we are, to make a gift of ourselves. Now, you can call that a spiritual practice, or it's just how you navigate life by making it an exercise in passing along your wisdom and laughter and trust and forgiveness and courage and love. Do that. Pass yourself along. And that is how we can best honor and give thanks for the life of Virginia Morgan. Please pray with me. God of hope and grace, you are our strength and our Redeemer. You're the giver of life and the conqueror of death. With humble hearts, we entrust Virginia Willis Morgan to your eternal care. We praise you for your steadfast love for Jenny and for the love she shared in her life. We thank you that for Jenny, death itself is past, and she has entered your realm of perfect peace and wholeness. Thank you for accepting and embracing a sheep of your own fold, a lamb of your own flock, and a daughter of your own redeeming. Thank you for receiving her into the arms of your mercy, into the blessed rest of everlasting peace, and into the company of the saints of light. Amen. Now we're going to sing another hymn. Amazing Grace, number 401. Verses. There are a lot of verses to this. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 5. two things before we leave. Our postlude, the last music we'll hear today, is Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin, and one of Jenny's favorites, and so please stay and enjoy that. After that, you're invited to gather for a reception in our fellowship hall, and that is that building just right here. And now may your path be illuminated by hope. May your soul be guided by peace. May your heart be filled with love. And may you be alert to a life overflowing with blessings. Amen.